Climber, how do you know when your song is ready to play for a music industry professional? How do you know when your song is going to help your reputation instead of hurt your reputation? I'm going to help you figure that out today on The Climb. So listen up. All right, Johnny, do that thing.
Welcome to The Climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. Anybody pick up on that? C.L.I.M.B. Leverage is what it takes, y'all, to get where you want to go. That next step up the ladder is going to come with more leverage. Getting the deal that you want is going to come with more leverage, whether that's a pub deal, whether that is a record deal, management deal, booking agent deal, whatever you want, man. That's the way that it's going to happen. The more you don't need anybody's permission. You just got to have leverage. You got to do the work yourself and make it happen. So that's why we call it The Climb. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So it's all about trying to teach you how to create the most leverage. And that acronym, by the way, is from a good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter, who's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols, and more. Number ones in Southern Gospel. He's got top tens on Texas radio. Number ones in Bluegrass now, right? Am I accurate on that?
That's
Top
right.
tens in Australian radio. The man is nationwide and multi-genre. Why? Because he can be. Because he works at it. But you don't care about any of that. What you care about is that Brent can help you turn pro with this little side hustle of yours, this little creative itch that you want to scratch, man. He can help you turn pro by teaching you how to write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then on a regular basis, he's going to get you in touch with the pro so you can create a relationship. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. And there's no S because there is no other Johnny D.
How you living?
I'm living in the Christmas spirit, which it won't be Christmas anymore by the time this drops. But, we're all festive around the Baxter household and life is good.
Good. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes.
Yeah. It's a little chilly here in Nashville right now. Woke up, it was like 27 degrees this morning. I was like, whew.
That ain't right.
Oh, right on. So we're going to learn about when should you reveal the goods, huh?
That's right. Yeah. So several weeks ago, this was, I think, episode 449. We discussed the dangers of sharing subpar songs for industry pros. And so a natural follow-up to that is like, well, when do I know when it's ready and it's not going to hurt my career? And so I thought we'd dive into that. I thought it'd be a good one for a kind of a solo non-interview episode to get into that.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, before we do that, let's take care of a little business. We want you to join the Climb community on Facebook. Just search for the Climb community. You have to ask to be let in. You have to answer 3 questions to prove you're not a bot and to prove that you are a human who's interested in the content of the podcast as opposed to selling siding, pizza roofs,
Carpet cleaning.
Carpet cleaning or any of the other random crap we've had to kick out Roadhouse out of the community. We protect you with a vengeance. We want everybody to feel safe there. But listen, this is a thriving, growing community of singers, songwriters, indie artists, indie musicians, everybody helping everybody. And we want to hear all about your new music, man. Post it as a comment on the New Music Monday post. We want to hear all about your gigs. Post that as a comment on the Gig Alert post every Thursday. And then on the Wednesdays, we talk about the wins and the new heights post. So on those wins, a little different than the other ones, we share those on the pod. So, Brent, what do we got?
Yeah.
Who's winning?
What? All right.
Who's winning?
Who's winning? All right. Well, climber Chris Rogers is winning. She said, I sang it around at the Commodore Grill yesterday. That's in Nashville. It went well. Yesterday's band practice was good. And my latest release, West Virginia, which is written by a veteran, is being played on the radio, including an FM station in the UK. And she got some other stuff going on, so is going to get interviewed on a podcast early next year. So, Chris, let us know when that drops. But yeah, so she's got that good stuff going on. And so congrats, Chris. And let's see, another one we got from Climber, Bill O'Hanlon, friend of the show. He says, my 181st cut came out today. Finished writing
nice.
Finished writing my 345th song for the year, writing my 44th book, and got a song taken for a pet food ad by Sync Agency yesterday. So, Bill, Chris, congrats, and keep on climbing.
I feel like if you switched lanes and got into the writing thing, you could probably do pretty good.
Bill might need to think about writing sometime. So
that's right. Congratulations, Bill. Congratulations, Chris. You guys, that's great, man.
Yeah, and it's funny. I had just a little bit of a win the other day. So I got in this Muso AI. I think it's Muso AO, which
AI,
is
yeah.
I got to look it up and see so I say it right. So it's muso.ai. Okay, so it's an app and it's a website where it tracks your streams and your credits and that kind of stuff. And so I'd heard about it through Skip Black, friend of the show, and started posting stuff. And so I checked it out and went on there and created just a free account for now. And just looking through, what credits it had already assigned to me, I'm like, wait, what's that? Like, oh, I got a cut like 4 years ago on a Southern Gospel thing I didn't even know about.
What? No way.
So
you found that on Mubo? That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's funny. So apparently the was it the Cox Family Band or something like that had covered Can I Get a Witness, which went number one for the sound in Southern Gospel. They covered it as well and had it on a record, like came out in 2020. So I was like, oh, well, that's fun. I need to track down and make sure we got licensing on that. But anyway, so that's kind of fun when you run across one, even when it's old, not earth shattering. Obviously, didn't blow up my, my royalty statements or anything, but that's always fun when you find out that somebody released something and you didn't even know about it, which is kind of fun. Like, I can't keep up with my own business.
Oh, I love that, man.
So anyway,
well, congrats on that. That's awesome. I got a little win too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I told you about that Bob Lefsetz's article that I responded to. I showed that to you, and where I just went on a rant, agreeing with Bob, not against Bob, but agreeing with Bob about the the quote unquote digital savvy part of the music industry, which is none. It's just none. Yeah. And I think as part of that, that was kind of the tipping point, if you will, for I was interviewed on like this really cool growing podcast called Mubu TV, MUBU TV. It's on YouTube, and I'm sure it's everywhere. Podcasts
like Music Business, MUBU.
Yeah, Music Business. Yeah, and it's like a couple.
All right. Yeah,
a couple big pros, but I mean the other people they've freaking interviewed already, man, are like just huge, like some of my heroes, man. Like John Kolodner from A&R, Clive Davis, dude, was interviewed on there because one of the hosts used to work with Clive for a long time. He still worked at a record label, so it's kind of cool. We just went down all things that you're sick of hearing me say on this podcast, but it was fun. So when it comes out, I'll let everybody know. But that was awesome. kind of cool being that kind of company, I thought. So that's good.
That is cool.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, let's get into this here.
Yes. So again, this is, we've discussed on the show episode 449, I believe, on the dangers of playing subpar material for industry pros. So we want to follow up going, okay, how do you know when it's ready? And so I have 5, maybe we'll get to 6 ways to try and figure out if your song's ready for prime time. So the first one is to receive feedback from peers. So share your songs with trusted peers, such as fellow songwriters, musicians, mentors. If they're providing positive feedback and constructive criticism that leads to noticeable improvements, then it's a sign that your work is moving toward that professional level, right? You want to see what they're saying about it. Positive reactions from knowledgeable individuals indicate your songs may be ready for a broader audience. So start with your peers, start with your buddies, your co-writing friends, your people at the writers' night, that kind of stuff. And shoot, that's what I did. I remember when I first moved to Nashville, there was a oh my gosh, what's his name? Tom. I'm blanking on his last name. He's actually a Songwriting Pro member now. It was just funny, but he hosted a writers little workshop, writers circle, somewhere near the Music Row, and my friend Roxy Randall took me there. And so, we would sit around with other writers, play songs, bring lyrics for everybody, and then they'd make their notes on it and, share songs and that kind of thing. So that was fun. Actually, Monday Morning Church was one that I shared with that. And some people were like, some people were like, it's really sad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Good.
So anyway,
yeah.
and still some friends and I'll play some songs. Anthony Oreo sent me and Matt Klein and our buddy Tim Meitzen a song the other day that was, fresh off the presses, and it killed me. I need to share it with you sometime, but so just getting some feedback on that, and I'll send them songs and that kind of stuff. So, start with your peers, see what they say.
Yeah, not your mom.
Your
mom's gonna love it no matter what.
Yeah, share with your mama. That's great, but that's not exactly on the ladder toward. Am I ready to share this with the music industry pro? So that'd be number one. To see what your peers have to say about it. Number two would be test with a small, unbiased audience. So this should be like, such as open mic nights, small shows, online platforms, that kind of stuff. So it's not out for the whole world and industry people, but maybe you are playing that local open mic, you're playing that local writers night, or you have a small online, maybe you have an online forum that's, other writers that are aspiring, that kind of thing. If you respond, so it's a little more public. If the response is consistently positive, like people are losing their minds, that's a good sign, right? If they're engaging with it, if they're coming up to you after the show and talking about that song, that's a good sign. I got a text from a buddy of mine that, the song of ours that I wrote with the artist, and he cut it and he's playing it out at shows. Now these are, bigger shows, but he's like, man, that's the one after the show. People are talking about that song. I'm like, that's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, he's planning on putting it out around the first of the year. So, but that kind of stuff, he's playing it for people, and he's getting that honest reaction from fans. Which is cool.
I love that.
Which is cool. So
when we go, there's writers' nights where at the Bluebird or at the listening room where it's like literally all about the songs, and you've got to to talk is frowned upon.
Yeah, and
everybody like really listens, and those are great venues, But a real hardcore test is when you're at like the like Porchlight Pickers, or if you're at the Music or a Freak show, where there's a bar scene happening, people are hanging and they're talking and everything like that, and you can kind of hear some some good songs go down in the row on that writer's night. To each writer, they're pretty good, and then when somebody nails it and everybody shuts up, and the din in that room is markedly down, that's when you're slaying them. That's just a really good limit. I think about Wake Up Call that Bill wrote. Bill and gosh, who was the other writer? Greg, and we talked about that song with
Steve Block.
With Steve Block, and where he's just like, that's a song, and he's trying to work that song, and that song, those lyrics, it's just so freaking good, and just that's one of those songs where everybody just shuts up when you hear it, and that's a real good litmus test right there. That's when
I remember when I heard that song. I guess Bill played it at the Freak Show one night when I was there.
Yeah,
and I think you were there too, and so I was listening because Bill's a friend, so I gave him some extra ear on it, and I was like, dang, I think I'm going to end up adopting again. And several months later, we got Daisy. But anyway, but yeah, if you can play for a small, of course, like the Freak Show or something like that, there's a lot of industry people too. And of course, it's a curated thing. So it's not like you just walk in off the street and play something like that. But if there are the open mic nights, the smaller things where, if people are freaking out about it, then that's great. These are people that are maybe outside your immediate circle. So you look like, the ripples in the water, the concentric circle. You've got the small ones are your peers, your crew, right? Hopefully they will tell you the truth. And then you got expand that circle a little bit with, okay, it's bigger than just my inner circle, but it's still a small circle and more unbiased. And what's the response? I mean, the bottom line, if people aren't like freaking out when they hear your song, that's telling you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because the bar is so high to impress a pro that if people aren't coming up and talking to you about it afterwards and going, oh my gosh, that's awesome. If they aren't shutting up to listen, yeah, maybe you sing like I do. And so I could go sing a hit song tomorrow out and it's probably not going to come across because I don't have the pipes and the chops on the guitar to really sell it, right? So give some allowance for that. Like, it's still got to come through your performance. But, if you have demos and that kind of stuff and people aren't responding, that's a big sign.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you may have like a bunch of songs that are like competitive, that don't get that reaction. And those songs, don't feel bad about those songs. Those songs are going to be the kind of songs that can maybe get some mileage once you have a relationship, built up. But the song that we're talking about is the one that where people are like, where a Steve Block is like, that song needs to be cut, and I need to exercise everything in my power to make sure that every signed artist hears this song, because they're all going to instantly weep when they hear it. It's that kind of a tune, or the song that's just so extraordinary, it gets you the outside cut, and then creates those relationships and get you on the buses, so
exactly.
So anyway, yeah.
So we're expanding our concentric circle. So next is get professional feedback from a songwriting coach. So you can work with a songwriter or songwriting coach who has experience in the music business. They can provide targeted, like, professional feedback on your songs, helping you identify the areas of improvement and confirming when your work is really like meet spec for the industry, right? So, and their endorsement can be a strong indicator that your songs are ready for a broader audience. If somebody, this is a service we make available through songwritingpro.com. We have a song feedback service where you can send me a song and I'll listen to it, offline and give an audio, track feedback on it and just tell you what I think about it, what I like about it, what can be stronger about that kind of stuff. And there are other services as well. We also have like coaching sessions available with like hit makers in country, bluegrass, gospel, that kind of stuff. We have several people at Songwriting Pro who like have hits and will meet with you and listen to your songs and give feedback and career counseling, all that kind of stuff. So that is another way of kind of seeing where you are in relationship to the bar. Like, are you ready to share with the industry pros? Like, yeah, you're sharing with a pro when you do that, because I'm a pro and the other people who have a songwriting pro that do that are pros, but it's kind of under a different umbrella, right? It's not just like sending a pitch. We're going to listen. We want to help you get better. That's our goal.
The idea is to critique it. Yeah.
Yeah. The idea is to help you get better. And so it's not just a pass fail or whatever, or a pitch. And we're also going to tell you the truth, because that's part of what I look at. Like, if you're sending, if you're giving me money to listen to your song and give professional feedback, you deserve my honesty. That's part of what you're paying for. If you just send me a song that is like, hey, bro, I've found your email and I'm sending you the song. First of all, I don't have time to listen, so it ain't going to happen. But even if I did, I was probably be like, cool, right? That's about it. But if you're paying me for my opinion, then I'm going to give you my opinion. It wrapped up in the most helpful, encouraging way possible. But the goal is to help you get better. But if something blows my doors off, it's going to be a really short response, because I'll be like, dude, that's freaking awesome. I wouldn't change anything. Who can, that kind of stuff. So if pros are saying really great things about your song, then that's totally, okay, you're ready to go. Because we're not easy to impress.
And remember the everything that comes with that when you do start to meet with the pros, right? Number one, you're creating relationships. Number two, that's the kind of song that can perk up a publisher's ears.
Yeah.
Right. If you do like a pitch for pro, or a play for publisher kind of a thing with you, where it's like, okay, in that instance, it's really not about the song. The publisher may or may not be like, I want to take this song and give you a single song deal. Maybe you get that, but they're damn sure going to be like, oh, we got a good songwriter here.
Yeah.
And I'm far more interested in a good songwriter than one good song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause that's the goose that lays the golden eggs. I'm going to get more. What happens if I put them in the room with these other guys that I know, these other girls that I know that really are crushing it with their skill set? That's a really good way to look at that and not judge it just by the cut. I mean, I was blown away to hear that it took Bobby Boyd 10 years to get God Bless the Broken Road cut. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
How many
crazy.
people passed on that for a damn decade before?
Song of the year.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And actually thinking about that now, like sending songs into the Songwriting Pro events we had, that wasn't even on my list, but like I curate those, and I'm not going to play your song for one of our industry guests unless I think it's ready, or Song Start, or something that like I'm going to curate partly to protect my reputation, because if I'm curating, then I'm taking ownership of what comes through. Like, okay, I want to make sure these are the best of the bunch. Obviously if you don't send it, I can't play it for the guest, who might be a producer, an artist, record person, a publisher. But the other part is it protects your reputation, because I'm not playing the clunker, so they don't associate a clunker with you if you're not ready. And that's another way too. If your songs aren't getting through events like Songwriting Pros Play for a Publisher or Pro Connect or a song, co-write pitch event, then okay, you got some growing to do. At least in my opinion. It's still one person's opinion. But if it gets curated and chosen, going, I'll play this for a publisher, kind of put my stamp of approval on it. Hey, and then you get to hear the publisher's feedback on it as well. So that's another way to look at it. Actually, I didn't have on my list. Another thing is to work with professional producers, engineers, that kind of stuff. If you're getting it demoed, if you're able to be in the studio with the players, and usually I want to run through all these steps before I demo, right before I spend money on it. So I'm not saying go do this, but one thing to listen to is, if you're just doing a guitar vocal, but this person's been around the block, what are they saying about your song? Are they flipping out about it? Are they going, oh, let me add some other stuff because I'm so excited about this. I want to just I'll stay extra. Let's go. Let's get this.
Yeah.
Then you can look at that. This one is trickier because you are paying them, right? And in all the demo sessions I've been in, I've never had a demo musician ever utter anything negative about any of my songs. They're always like, man, that's killer.
If they were my musicians that I hired for the times when we do those demos, I would hang them from the highest tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want them to piss off the customer. But it's hard on a one-off, to go in and judge that, because there's no context on the way it rolls. But when you do 500 songs that you've produced, especially like song demos and stuff like that, and then you start to notice, like, oh, these guys are really liking this. You know what I mean? Because they are gonna put a little extra TLC.
You can tell. Yeah. So that one is not the highest recommendation on that, because they do have a financial incentive to get hired again and to keep the customer happy. You've already picked the song; they're going to play on it. So them telling you it's okay, but it didn't blow wind up my skirt, doesn't do anything for anybody. All it does is make you less likely to hire them in the future, and they got kids to feed. So take that with a grain of salt. If they are like, man, this is great, this is killer, well, just remember you're paying them. Yeah. So it's not an unbiased opinion versus like a songwriting coach. That's the whole deal, is like, at least with how I do things, it's like, okay, I'm going to tell you.
You're going to be biased. Yeah.
Try to give you opportunity to make it better. Because for me to get hired again, I think, is to help you get better. And they go, man, that really helped my song get better. I'm going to send the next one. So like my financial incentive in that is to help you get better. And I don't do that by lying to you, blowing smoke. Yeah. With the producer engineer, they may have different incentives. So you can't always take that. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Well,
on an artist level, because we work with so many artists that are also songwriters, right? I mean, you may encounter that in a very real way, even when you're paying. If you've hired a producer,
Mhm.
to who's really interested in being a producer, right? Not
Yeah.
just somebody that's going to take your money and provide a recording session with some great
Yeah.
musicians. There's a difference, right?
Mhm.
But when when and I've had this conversation a lot with artists that I've worked with, where it's like, here's 20 songs, and it's like, okay, we've got like four good ones,
Yeah.
and these other 16, like, we need to write another, six songs that are as cool as
Mhm.
these four right here.
Yeah.
And so there, it's my job, because if I'm put my name on it as a producer, even though, yeah, you're paying me to do it, but still, now I'm going to have something out there in the ether
Yeah.
that I don't want to be viewed as just somebody in town that's just going to shake down people for some money and go, make something good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring them up here. Like, either they got great songs, or I'm gonna put them with writers to help them
Mhm.
get great songs. And
Yeah.
even then, we're still like, okay, well, they're better, but do we have the song? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like because their name is on it too. So in that kind of context, which is different than an amateur demo context, where it's like
Mhm.
a record with a producer that cares,
Mhm.
enough to say no. Like, these half of
Yeah.
these songs aren't they don't belong in this record.
Mhm. Yeah, I would
They're
weigh
not
that
ready.
opinion a lot heavier especially once they've shot down a couple songs, and which really just makes more work for them,
Yeah,
right? So
it
like,
really
oh, they're
is.
taking on more work for them, and maybe not on a per hour basis more work, but I got to weed through more songs and figure those out. Where it'd be easier just to go, yeah, sure, it's great, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't charge, like, to hook my artists up with writers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, my writers are willing to write with my artists because they know either I'm going to produce it or I'm behind it some way. In
Mhm.
a going to promote it or whatever. And so now they're at least interested in
Mhm.
listening to this artist, and to do that. Now, I can't just bring them somebody who's not ready to play in that sandbox yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they can't swim in that deep end of the gene pool, then that hurts me. It
It
doesn't
does,
help me.
because
But
people like me would be like, why am I here? I don't want
yeah,
to be taking
yeah,
this call if this ends up being a sucky day and I don't get a good product and I'm not going to make any money off it because the artist is no good. What I'm doing you a solid, but I can go broke doing that. So yeah,
yeah,
it's like when
exactly.
somebody
But
puts their name on it and co-signs kind of what you're doing, they're using some of their political capital, relationship
for
capital to do that.
sure. For sure. And then when you get to the point where it's like, okay, well, we've got three songs here, but we need more songs.
Hmm.
Now I'm having to exercise more relationships and
Hmm.
ask for more time, and you know what I mean, and do the booking, and
Hmm.
because there's a whole lot of friggin' herding cats involved with that,
Yeah.
uh, to make that happen on any given day that this artist might be in town.
Hmm.
And that's been my experience, because all the artists I've worked with the last few years aren't from Nashville, so it's like,
Yeah.
and that's not by choice. That's just luck of the draw. But I mean, they're coming into town. We got to make something happen
Yeah.
on these specific days, and that gets a little tricky. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's work, man. It's a lot of. You're right. It's more work for me, and I don't get paid extra for it. So it's only because I know we need more songs.
Right, and
Yeah.
you want great songs. So that's going to be an opinion I would take, definitely put a lot more weight on. The other thing is to just kind of compare to industry standards. So listen to commercially successful songs in your genre and compare your work to them. Now, this is the most kind of subjective, and so this is not as hardcore as somebody that's in the industry saying, "Yeah, let me send this to a buddy of mine," or "You need to get this heard." But pay attention to the structure, to the lyrics, the production quality, overall feel. If your songs hold up well in comparison and meet or exceed those standards, it's a good indicator that it's more on that professional level. For example, if most successful songs range from like 240 to 4 minutes, but yours are all like clocking in at 5 or more, that's a red flag, right? So there's certain
Yeah.
things you can just kind of look at. If the most popular songs in your genre are up tempo and yours are slow, that's a red flag. So, you want to make sure that you're measuring measurables, comparing measurables, not just comparing feelings, because we're all biased toward our own work. It's just natural. It's not
Yeah.
trustworthy. But if you can look at some of those things that are measurable, then at least that's something that you can take a look at. Like, oh yeah, my songs are all 5 minutes slow songs, and everything on the Billboard chart are 3-minute bangers. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, maybe I need to work on some of those as well. This may not be what the industry is really reacting to right now. That sort of thing. But the big thing is you want to start getting some outside opinions on your stuff to see if it's ready to share with pros, if you can. Not that, again, what I tell people when they start getting professional feedback, whether they're doing workshop nights or, going to songwriting coaches or whatever, or just going to their peers. Like if you hear something once, okay, take it into consideration, right? You may agree with it, you may not. If you hear the same comment twice, okay, you have my attention. If you hear it 3 times, from different sources that you respect, okay, there's definitely got to be something here worth paying attention to, whether it's stuff that they love or stuff they go, this second verse here, I got lost, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's where it helps to go through kind of several filters and to see what people are saying. If you hear a lot of commonality, then there's probably something there that you need at least take a look at, and then you make your choices as the owner of that creative work, as the artist. But at least it's really good to get some outside feedback on stuff like that. So that was a big thing. Unfortunately, there's not like a I don't know, like just you can't just put an AI and go, is it ready? Yes, his is ready. No, we're not there yet. And what it comes down to really is your own personal satisfaction and confidence. Like, do you feel really confident about this thing after you've done some of these other things? Like I love that new song smell, that new demo. That's like nothing. It's never been rejected yet, and it's just perfect. And you're like, I'm very confident. Yeah, but once you walk it around the block a couple times, let some people speak into it, and hopefully you're doing that before it gets demoed. But man, the Bible is true. It says, the heart is deceitful. It's hard to trust our hearts. But hey, if you're not even confident about it, though, okay, keep working. You want to keep working. But I just want to share that. So I'm just kind of recap real quick.
Well, hold on. I got something to add to that. I mean, it's about your craftsmanship too. You know what I mean? Like, what writer do you want to be? Do you want to be the person in the room that everybody else is looking at, and you're like, yeah, look, that line's done. Let's just move on to the next one because you just want to get it done and it rhymes and it's good enough? Or do you want to be somebody? I was thinking of like, Dan Smalley, right? Where it's like everybody that's written with Dan Smalley loves writing with Dan Smalley, because he's a freaking genius. But also they'll say like he will obsess over the craftsmanship on the song. Or even longer than they will, and they consider themselves to have high standards because they do. But there's the opposite of that. Like he's just like, this has to be. It can be better. It can be better. Yeah, like it can be better. Like a personal goal, you know, of that. I mean, so you know what? It just occurred to me. What if you thought about your songwriting craftsmanship the same way? Hopefully you think about your hygiene. I'm good for 3 or 4 days without taking a shower before I get so stinky I can't even stand myself. You know what I mean? Or, are you like, are you just trying to put your best face forward, and clean teeth and you don't look like you're a mess. I mean, it's that way. And just how you care about it, it really is about how you care. But when you obsess about the craftsmanship, it's going to change the way you write songs.
Yeah. And there's a balance, Seth Godin talks a lot about shipping. At some point you just need to ship. You can also have analysis paralysis and use that doubt. You want to have an undeniable smash hit before you play for somebody as a way to hide, the resistance that Stephen Pressfield would talk about, can try to use that to keep you from getting your work into the world. And that's not good. Right. Because as you just mentioned, the Bless the Broken Road song of the year took a long time to ever really see the light of day. So I like to say everything's deniable, right? By somebody. There's no such thing as like just undeniable. You just strike that from your vocabulary. Hey, we're going to do our best work. So at some point you do need to ship. Doesn't mean every song needs to get played for an industry pro, because Lord knows I wouldn't play all of mine for industry pros. But so that's the other side of it, is don't let all that stop you at some point. So there's a wisdom and an experience level to going, okay, let me run it through these steps to, get feedback from peers, from a small unbiased audience, from a songwriting coach, a professional, to, I compared it with the industry standard. And maybe, when I go in and do my work tape or guitar vocal or something, is the person in the booth or in the other at the engineers, whatever, are they freaking out about it? Do I feel personally good about it? Okay. Then you're good. Just, they may pass still. Doesn't mean they're going to freak out over it. But then, hey, I feel a lot more prepared to at least put my best foot forward.
Here's the bottom line on the shipping part of that. And by the way, did you see that Seth Godin was on the Bob Lefsetz podcast?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
One of my greatest days ever. Like, I mean, it's like, really? Like, I love the Bob Lefsetz podcast. Like, there's so many interviews I've listened to that I gleaned so much from. And then one of my marketing heroes is on there. I'm like, damn, Bob, you're legit, dude. Yeah. Even though I knew you were legit before, now you're really legit. But anyway, like when you ship, I mean, think about it this way. Like it's so here's your litmus test to not use it as a protection racket. You've got known knowns, right? You know how to write the song. You know how to write right now. You've got known unknowns and you've got unknown unknowns, right? And so when you're shipping, when you're playing it for other people, for you to sit there and say, well, I'm going to keep writing until I get that smash hit. You may reach your known knowns threshold, like you're done, right? And unless you are open to learning some more and finding out, what the unknown unknowns are, like, oh, here's what you're doing wrong, and you need to do more of this. So now you have something new to reach for. I mean, I've become stale so many times as as a marketer, you know what I mean? Just doing my job there, where I'm like, all right, time to read a book, or I got to go. I need some more inspiration. You know what I mean? Because I'm just sort of in a rut, and that helps you get out of that. So embrace that. Like one of the, God, I saw this guy. I can't remember who it was. He was this, he's this sales guru dude. He's a black dude with a big beard. I think it's a little white, like on his beard. Real handsome dude. It's just if you've seen, you might have seen his content. I just can't remember his name, but he's like, everybody's afraid of rejection. So I turn it into a game, right? Like, 10 no's in a row. And what you're doing is you're trying to get 10 no's in a row. And so now you're going out there, you're trying to get to 10.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And this way you just keep rocking. How many times can you do 10 no's in a row?
Yeah.
Right. Because now all of a sudden you're like, oh man, somebody said yes and they want to talk to me about something. And the eighth one, I was so close. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it almost turns it the other way around and makes it like, because every one of those no's is going to help you get better.
Exactly. So,
another way to kind of look at that. Anyway, I love this episode, dude. Good content.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, so if you're interested in getting some feedback on your stuff from myself, or we have pros like Steve Dean, Jennifer Schott, who's had number ones, Tim McGraw. Steve Dean's had number ones with like Alabama and, hits George Strait. And we have Donna King, who's a Southern gospel artist and writer as well. And myself and Bill White, who's bluegrass and comedy and country and all that stuff. So if you're interested in getting some feedback from any of us, you can go on over to songwritingpro.com/coaching. That's songwritingpro.com/coaching. And you can see what we have available. So if that's of interest to you, we'd be happy to help. That's what I got.
There you go, guys. All right. I love it. Well, this brings us to the end of another incredible, and I love saying that, incredible C.L.I.M.B show episode. Make sure that you join the C.L.I.M.B community, follow the podcast wherever you consume podcasts, and tell a friend about it, guys. This podcast exists because we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Who ride a Greyhound?